Okay, guys, I know you've seen the title. I did a YouTube short on this, and it looks like it got a good amount of engagement, so I thought I was going to end up doing a long form content on this. It says the Trump administration consider selling federal student loan debt to the private market or private investors. I just wanted to talk about this because this would impact, I believe, over 43 million Americans. And I just wanted to talk about this because it's financial related. You got investing, you got the general public, and I know that this can affect a lot of people. So I just wanted to dive in on this story. And by the way, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good idea, a bad idea, a horrible idea? Any ideas that you think may be beneficial? But let's just go over the top line. It says the Trump administration is considering selling part of the 1.6 trillion portfolio of student loan debt to the private market. So roughly, I've seen different numbers. Some people says, I believe it's, like when I look pulled up here for student loan, this one says 1.8 million, 1.81 trillion in federal and private student loans as of quarter 2025. So it's a good amount, and it mentions 45.2 million borrowers have student federal student loan debt. So we talking about this would affect over 45 million people. Now here's the key facts that I also wanted to quickly mention um, regarding, let's see, why they might want to be doing this. It says, I just want to key facts. The federal direct loan program helps students and their parents pay for higher education. It says the Department of Education estimates that the program cost has increased substantially over the last 25 years, shifting from generating 114 billion in income for the government to costing 197 billion. Cost estimates increased because of changes to the program and education assumptions about how the loan will be repaid. So I just wanted to give you some context of why the Trump administration is even considering end up passing this to someone else. Now, the key also a key component I wanted to go over, it says the senior officials has discussed a proposal for financial industry. Executives are considering possibly hiring an outside firm or bank to analyze the value of the portfolio. Now it says the discussion comes as the Trump administration had gotten rid of a lot of got rid of some of the borrower's protections, including restarting collections and defaulted student loans that was paused during the COVID. And experts has concerns that private lenders might not be as forgiving to borrowers as the federal government. So that is a very good point that I wanted to highlight. Another one, it says private investors are likely wouldn't be willing to pay more than the loans are worth, since their value is tied to ability that private doesn't have, such as unlimited time to collect loans, immunity from lawsuits, and also garnishing their wages. So it says the federal government has also sought to reduce the size and responsibility of the education department, which is currently overseeing the student loan portfolio. It looks like Trump says the Department of Education is not a bank and must return bank functions to its entities equipped to serve American people. So it looks as if the order wants to instruct that small businesses, the SBA, Small Business Administration, take over the federal student loan portfolio. But this, of course, transfer will require Congress approval. It says Trump the Trump administration didn't deny that it was considering selling some of the student loans portfolio and committed to analyzing all blah blah blah. Now it says a critic. I don't really. Chief critic says I really don't see a scenario where taxpayers come out ahead, and it says I think the most likely scenario is that taxpayers get less than the loans are actually um, worth. Now, I wanted to look at this from, I looked at, several different articles about could the sale be cost free for tax. So basically, and I just wanted to end up going over it, does he has have the ability to do so? And I think USA Today kind of did a good job of highlighting. It says, and by the way, this article, it says, Trump wants to sell some student loans. What if yours in one of them? So it looks like, let me scroll down. It says, can Trump sell all federal student loans? It says, the law allows the federal student loan portfolio to be sold if it doesn't cost taxpayers any money. Experts told USA Today it's not the first time. I think in 2009 he tried to do something similar, but it didn't. I don't think it went too far. It says, could the sale be cost free for taxpayers? Experts say not really clear. And says, what will happen if my student loans are sold? It says, if your federal student loans is sold to a private investor, the first thing you may notice is you're seeing your payments somewhere new. Digging deeper, for any sale that occurred, the terms may have to be altered. Private equity again wouldn't be allowed to garnish wages or benefits to help pay back the loan without going to court. They also can't give borrowers unlimited time to repay loans. These and many other powers are only given to the federal government, I should say. Changing terms comes with another set of issues. Any law stripping repayment rights or unfavorable terms from the student loan could potentially trigger obligations to compensations to student loans borrowers for the loss of the term. So this is a very complex situation, and I believe yeah. Now there was a few ideas that I typically came up with where it could, for something like this, I think it would, in order for this to work, you would have to make it a win-win for borrowers, well, with taxpayers. I would say for make this deal probably to be very beneficial. Taxpayers, no matter what, is probably not going to really benefit from this, too much. But I think the best way to approach it is just to try to make it a win-win for the borrowers, and also you have to give the private investors a better incentive to take it on. Now, what I think would possibly I came up with, and I'll also read out some comments that people mentioned in the shorts. It was quite a few of them, and one of the things that I would end up saying regarding this that I think may be a good idea. And if you have any ideas, drop in the comments below. But I think that an option may be to voluntarily, like everyone who has student loans, you know, give them the option. Hey, we in order to handle this so that we would have less debt, we would like to end up selling your student loan to the private investor. We do understand the terms and agreements would change, set new terms and agreements, and then for a incentive to have them voluntarily do it and accept the new terms, maybe knock off maybe 20 or 30% of the amount that they owe. So for example, if they owe like 100, you may knock it down to 70 or 60, and that way I think it would be more fair to the borrowers, and as well as the private, and on the private investor side, I think they might feel a little bit more confident as far as the rights and stuff, because then it would be, to me, it would be more legit because the borrower is now aware and they're accepting new terms. So I think if you want to do something like that, giving them the ability, the right to make that choice, and of course you would have to give them an incentive. And on the private market side, if I was the government, to give them more of an incentive to take on that, because some people may not be able to afford it, with the cost of living and stuff like that. Maybe give them major tax incentives, but give it to them like maybe like they can't use it until 5 to 10 years. So that way it kind of gives the government a little bit more benefits earlier on, and then they'll later on, hopefully, that not too many have. Hopefully, if they do pay them, hopefully that the tax benefits that they would have to get wouldn't cost the government too much money. But those are just some ideas that I came up with. But I'm thinking like maybe, and if they don't pay it back, the private actually could just kind of write it off as a big tax loss. But maybe you have to kind of push it, kick it down the road, or give them that benefit later on, for it to kind of be beneficial for the government and stuff like that. But I think that would be, you know, probably the best idea, because it would, and then it would be, and then the ones, I guess, who wouldn't want to do it, they keep that portion for the federal government, but the ones who volunteered, and, do that. And then maybe you can, every couple of years kind of reintroduce it, or, give them an option maybe every 2 or 3 years. Hey, this is much you owe. If you go with this, we'll reduce it by your total balance or something like that. Now, that's what I can end up saying about everything, and I think I covered everything. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this? If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm out.